Evening, YouTube. This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys have had a good weekend. Well, I meant to do a video yesterday, but I had a lot on my plate, and think time just got away from me. And before I knew it, it was already about 11 o'clock at night. So I do apologize there. I fumbled a little bit on that one, but I did promise that I would have another video up this weekend, and here we are right now. So let's get right into it. This is gonna be a weekly forecast here. Just something that I can do to try to keep the channel a little bit more lively. 2 videos a week. I mean, while the numbers are decent, I don't know. I guess if you guys have any sort of criticism or any sort of opinion that you would like to give in the comment section, please do so. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get right into this here. So basically, as we've been talking about, the story is pretty much the same right now. There's no real severe weather, no heavily concentrated area of severe weather, I should say. There's marginal risk, but that's about it. And none of these really have like a heavily associated tornado threat or threat of any kind, to be honest. It's just going to be mainly the typical damaging wind and hail threat. This is tonight's risk. No tornado threat. Minimal wind and hail threat. Mainly centered around North Dakota, around the city of Minot. Not much going there. Day 2, things are a little bit more interesting. I also want to take a moment here to admire the shape that the National Weather Service has used. Looks like a foot trying to attempt to curb stomp the northern and central plains, but it's almost like Kansas has a little thumbtack over here, and it's just now starting to step on said thumbtack that was left on the floor by the rest of the country. And then we have a little bubble around the southeast, around Atlanta and North Dakota, that looks like it's coming out of someone's nose while they're sleeping. That's me trying to be funny. I don't think it worked out too well. Again, let me know in the comments. But these are our 2 marginal risk areas for Monday. When we look at the tornado threat, what do you know? Nothing. I'm happy to say that, though. And then around the Central Plains and Southeast, our main threats are wind and hail. But that's really all we got going on there. And then we take a look to Tuesday, and once again we have a small marginal risk area that is the shape of kidney bean, which includes areas of northwestern Arkansas. Maybe over towards Joplin, you have a marginal risk of severe weather. Nothing crazy going on. Then over towards the southeastern corner of Wichita, we'll have to look at you guys too. But beyond that, we have relatively quiet weather, or we have the garden variety thunderstorm in the forecast, some of which are mostly pop-ups. Honestly, I'm more interested in the activity around the Four Corners region with that monsoon season going on over there. In fact, while I'm at it, might as well take a look at that, huh? Alright. Go ahead and load that up. Why not? Why not? Because this is going to probably be a quick video again. Okay. I mean, with this, I still don't expect much of anything to be going on. We do, of course, have to talk about that little tropical system that we had that's hanging around southern Mexico, the southern coast of Texas and Mexico. It is expected to move inland. I do not expect it to become a tropical system by any stretch of the imagination, but this is still going to bring heavy rainfall towards southern Texas. We do, however, need that rain just a little bit further north. For areas towards Houston, in between Houston and Dallas especially, has been hit hard with a drought this year. It's been very dry over there, and unfortunately it looks like right now, those conditions will continue to persist. We'll see what happens with the tropics in due time to see whether or not we can break that drought over there, although we don't want it falling too fast at once. Go to day 2 here. We'll actually look at all 5 days, but here's day 2. Again, our main threat for any sort of excessive rainfall is around our monsoon region, which is Four Corners right now. Same can be said with day 3. And then on days 4 and 5, there is a little bit of an area that's popped up right around here, and we'll get into that in a minute. So it'll be interesting to see what the Weather Prediction Center has in mind for that, and what they're seeing on the models. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at our anomaly map here. We're going to take a look at where our low pressures are forming and where they're going to be moving to. Also get an idea of where the jet stream's going. We'll just go from that point. So this is a relatively fresh Euro. We'll move this along if I can. There we go. Should be good now. There we go. It's about 3 hours out from now. This is this is a little bit behind our current time. It's a little bit closer to where we are right now. Here's a low pressure here. This could be our little catalyst behind our next group of thunderstorms around the south and east. Last couple of days we haven't really had too many pop-ups around here, so it's been nice and quiet. There's been a little bit more activity towards the north, and we do expect those conditions to persist through the next couple of days. So we get caught in between these two low pressures, and our battle zone will be right around here. We'll have a little bit of unsettled weather around the south and east, heading in around Monday and sticking around on Tuesday. More than likely these showers and storms are going to be, oops, I've hit the wrong button. So here's a model sounding that we didn't need. But right around this region in the southeast, we can expect mostly some pop-up thunderstorms, I would say. This isn't going to be necessarily one of those concrete systems that brings in a lot of clouds and rain, but this is going to potentially keep the air temperatures a little bit lower, although the dew points will be still elevated. Meanwhile, here's our next system. Of course, this is looking like it's trying to push a little bit further south, which would be some great news for areas around northern and central Texas. Those are the areas that have been getting hit the hardest with drought this year. It's been very dry around there. But what tends to happen is the jet stream tends to move up so far north that these storms don't really get anywhere towards the southeast, and as a result, if you don't get any storms, you don't get any rain, and that persists for months and months at a time, then we all know how that goes. It quickly can get out of hand, and you can end up in a drought and it can just elevate from that point, unfortunately. But looks like things are getting a little bit more active around the south and east towards the middle of the week. I'll have to keep a close eye on that. We do have a ridge that's starting to budge a little bit. Originally, we were expecting it to form around the northwest, early this week, and it looks like it starts to, but it just doesn't hang around long, which is good news for them, I guess. But maybe this ridge might move out the way long enough for Texas to even get a little bit of rain, which I think is going to be a key player. Meanwhile, around the monsoonal region, we are going to still be getting hammered day after day with showers and thunderstorms. We also got to keep an eye out for this dry lightning, especially towards areas around Colorado and desert regions, because the threat of wildfires is also present. So we'll have to be watchful of that. So that's all we got there. Let's go ahead and see how the temperatures coincide with this map here. I mean, it's not as hot around around the country as a whole. I mean, towards the desert, we're still hitting those triple digits, but I do see a lot less 90s and triple digits than I did last week, which is great news. I'm sure a lot of us are ready for the fall and the winter now at this point, because this year has been ridiculously hot. So on Monday, it looks like we're still getting pretty warm around the southeast. Around central Texas, we're still getting those triple digits, and around the deserts and around the desert southeast, and even into northern Cali, we're getting into the triple digits too. So I mean, it's still hot. Not as hot as it's been, but it's still pretty daggone hot. And then we look towards Tuesday. Things look like they're cooling down a little bit around the eastern half of the country. Towards the central parts in the west, we're still pretty toasty, to say the least. I'll almost say burning, but I'm trying not to make people feel worse than they already are if they happen to be watching this. So we'll look towards Wednesday, and things do look like like they are going to be cooling down further in the south and east. But look at this dome of heat that's starting to build around the west. Like, oh my goodness. Starting to get into the 110s around some parts of the desert, towards the Baja Peninsula, and even towards southern and central Cal. We're pushing towards 110. Very uncomfortable weather for you guys ahead, unfortunately. And then this is as far as we can go out with the Euro. We're only able to get to about Thursday morning, but it looks like it still could be another hot day ahead. We'll go a little further in a later video in regards to August, and maybe even we'll start taking some seasonal outlooks in the future. But it's going to be interesting to see how we do things on the channel over the next few weeks, and I'm looking forward to you guys seeing it all. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the precipitation now, and well, actually, I kind of got the order wrong here. We're going to take a look at the flash density first, I think. This is another reason why I don't like making videos, because I feel like I'm completely just out of rhythm now. I'm just so thrown off at times, it feels like. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we may have for the next few days. Where we are more likely to have thunderstorms over the next 4.5 days, I would say. So we're jumping ahead about 12 hours, 24 hours tomorrow. I mean, once again, we're mainly looking towards this little section right here in the northern plains. Thunderstorm activity, a pretty concentrated area around there, and then towards southern and central Nebraska, it looks pretty impressive there. Expecting about 3 to 4 flashes a day, pretty considerable amount. And then we'll watch this on Tuesday, move further to the south and east. The threat becomes a little bit more concentrated around the Ozarks and around Missouri and around the Missouri Valley. And then as we go towards Wednesday, this finally makes its way towards the south and east. Still has that same sort of threat potential around the Four Corners region. And then as we go into Thursday, we're mainly going to be focused around the northern plains and the southeast once again. Pattern isn't really changing just yet, but I do see some potential signs of change ahead. So this is going to be interesting how these next few weeks play out. God forbid that a tropical system comes into play, because that just changes the entire game. Alright, now we take a look at the precip. We'll just loop this here, because I think we pretty much already know what's going to happen here. If you've watched the channel, you pretty much know how it goes. So here's our little tropical system that's worked its way into Texas and Mexico. And then, of course, here's our monsoonal setup working its way in from the Gulf and around the Baja, bringing in more moisture, triggering more storms. Then here's our storm system working its way towards the south and east. And I, interestingly enough, do see a little bit of vorticity towards the end of the week, so that might mean a potential increase in severe weather. I do think the threat's still minimal, but it's something worth watching. We'll be watching mainly towards Wednesday, I would say. Towards Tuesday evening and Wednesday. Mainly, I would be concerned about any sort of severe weather threat from Kansas all the way as far south as maybe Mississippi. Alabama is pushing it, in my opinion, right now, but there might be an increased threat of severe weather around here. But beyond that, I think we're good. I think we're just about done here. It's kind of odd. I wonder how much time I even have in the video, because I'm trying to keep them brief still. Yeah, we're close to 15 minutes. I'll end the video here. I'll be a little bit more comprehensive in the next video. I do think I'm probably going to make a video tomorrow about the tropics, because there is expected to be an increase in activity there. So we will be covering that soon. But until the next video, if you've before I even get into the outro, if you like what I've been doing on this video, leave me a like, drop a comment, share the video, and share the channel even. I'm hoping to get to 50 subs by the end of the year. Doesn't seem unreasonable, especially if things start to pick up. But until then, this has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I'll see you soon. Have a good night.